faith. Have faith. Believe in your source. Have faith.
Welcome to Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs, the podcast that dives deep into the stories of trailblazers who shape our world. Our co-host, Lulu Benavidez, is a seasoned entrepreneur in the beauty industry, is a photographer, artist, and the proud owner of Lulu's The Salon in Galveston, Texas. Our other co-host, Krokonis Hanson, is a visionary in the entrepreneurial world with years of experience in business innovation and development. Together, they bring you insights, inspiration, and the journeys of remarkable individuals who have made their mark. And with that, let's get started. Leigh Burgin is a certified personal trainer, group fitness instructor, pro trainer, and a director of education for The Faster Way. As a former high school teacher and cheer coach, her passion for education and fitness evolved into a virtual career in wellness and longevity. Leigh's experience in fitness space ranges from gym management to running outdoor boot camps. She currently lives in Florida as a director of education for Faster Way's 4,000 certified coaches, ensuring that they are equipped with current research and coaching strategies to help their clients succeed. I am here to help men and women learn practical ways to live with energy and strength and to thrive in their purpose. Her education and credentials are ACSM Certified Personal Trainer, ACSM Certified Inclusive Trainer, Cooper Institute Certified Personal Trainer, Functional Range Conditioning Coach, Clean Health Science of Nutrition Certification Level 1 and 2, Performance PT Coach Level 2, Taibo, SCW Boxing, and SCW Kettlebell.
Hi, Leigh.
Hi, Lulu.
I'm Lulu, and this is Sue, and I'm so happy that you're part of this podcast. You know, I've known you for a long, long time. You were my personal trainer in Galveston, and then your ex-husband was my personal trainer. Then I got sick, and then now I have another one, but I still go to the gym where Peter's at. Mm-hmm. And I always love everything that you've done for me, and I believe that it's very important, whether you're a hairstylist or just a person, the importance of having a personal trainer. And if you can't afford a personal trainer, well, don't drink those Starbucks every day. But anyway, save your money if you can't have your personal trainer at least once a week. Or if not, go to an app and be able to exercise and learn to eat properly. So welcome to the Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs podcast. And can you tell us a little bit history about yourself?
Yes, Lulu, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you, and Sue as well. And Lulu, I just have to say this. Yes, I was your personal trainer. My former husband was your personal trainer. You're still with all of that. But I'm going to have to slip in there that you were a super great friend. And your daughters were also my clients, but my super great friends. And so in the relationships that we had through all of those years, you guys, I wanted to start speaking Spanish. I wanted to do all the things you're doing. I wanted to be part of your family so bad. So again, I appreciate every single thing about me being here. So my background is I was a former high school teacher for 10 years. I mean, that was easy. All you have to do is learn how to vote, right? And I quit that to be a stay-at-home mom for a while. I was a triathlete back then and wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And that lasted for a second until I got my first divorce. I don't collect them, but there's a couple. So this first divorce was a real low point. I mean, the lowest I'd ever been. And I couldn't figure out a way to be emotionally strong or mentally strong. So I was looking for a way to have my kids be with me. I had a 4 and 5-year-old as a single mom. To be flexible, I needed a flexible job, but I also wanted to still teach. And I became a personal trainer and I was teaching group fitness and wanted to just kind of figure out how I could be strong. So I thought, well, let me just see if I become my first client as a personal trainer, because all new personal trainers are terrible. I mean, they want to know, but they don't. And so I said, let me just do exactly what I would tell someone to do. And so I followed my program with my mentor, my ex-husband, for a year, very, very consistently. I picked up a 45-pound bar, and at the end of the year, that bar, I mean, it got so heavy. It was 200 pounds. And I wasn't looking for a body in the mirror. I was looking for a heart inside. So when I looked in the mirror after that year passed, I was like, wow, that's the side effect of lifting weights. That's the side effect of doing, now don't get me wrong, I had plenty of wine. I had plenty of queso. I had all the things because I wasn't going to lose my life. I was still healing. But when I recognized what was possible without working that hard, I just did the thing. I knew it was possible for other people. Fast forward, I did that for 10, 12 years, bought a gym, all group fitness. At one point, I was teaching 20 classes a week, plus 30 personal training appointments. I mean, it was nuts. And
you were working, girl. You were working.
I can't even remember. You know, you don't remember when I took your diapers. I don't remember. And it was 7 years of that, just grinding. But I loved it. Every single face had its own reason, and every single heart had its own story. And I just loved going inside. And so I finally, though, got tired because no one was meeting me there. So after that long, I was getting so burnt out. I would have people just abuse my servant mind, but that's why I'm not a very good entrepreneur, because I kept giving away stuff. But so I would just sit there and be like, oh, you forgot about our session. You know, oh, that's okay. You're going to have lunch. You drank too much at lunch with your friends. Oh, it's okay. I kept letting them live a lifestyle that wasn't helping them. And I was too down in it to try to figure out how to get out. So I told my husband, I said, you know what? I'm not going to work here anymore. I said, I'm going to go back to teaching high school because, again, they can vote. And my clients they didn't look any better. You know, we come from a pretty high intensity party town. They didn't look any younger. They weren't looking well. They weren't looking strong. I was like, man, you're just running yourself into the ground. So one of my clients said, I want you to meet my friend because you should start selling supplements. You could make so much more money because you're really not making any money on the floor. I said, I was a salesperson. So she kept trying to show me all these different supplements. I was like, ooh, and I wanted to, but I'm just like, I just can't sell anything. So then here, try this one. I'll try this one. So this last one I saw, the faster way, and I thought, well, let me prove this 35-year-old little chick wrong. I literally joined the program to prove it wrong. Half of my clients were intermittent fasting. The other half were doing keto. The other half were doing high intensity every single day. Some were just eating pills. Some were just taking shots. And I was like, ugh. So I was going to prove this wrong. And then I just, 3 days in, was like, this is what I've been trying to say. Fast forward, I became an online coach. My husband fired me from the gym and said, if everybody that trains with you is not doing this virtual program that you're working through, then they can't train with you. I was like, wow, that's pretty bold. But I had a thriving business in a week. I was like, wow, 150 people are in my first class. And so that, I just kept compounding. It was so financially lucrative, and I was like, ugh, but I don't want the money. So the CEO made an announcement on Instagram and said, if anybody wants to come out here and work with me, provide new workouts and help elevate clients when they're stuck. And I was like, my kids, and he was like, you're not getting any younger, lady. Go on to Florida and go see what that was like. That was going to last for 6 months, and now it's been 5 years. Education at this company, providing 365 new workouts every single year, building the program and working with people all day long that I now just see on the TV. Wow, how long did that take? 25 minutes. I'm so sorry. Is this podcast over?
No.
No.
We're just getting started.
Back to the wine and the queso, because you had me at wine and queso. But I also want to go back to teaching. What did you teach? And how did that prepare you for what you're doing now? Because to me, this is a fascinating journey, especially for women, because, we all start somewhere, right?
Yeah. So I literally taught storytelling. I was a terrible high school student. I was into all the drugs. I was barely graduated. I mean, it was in the 80s, and it was just high school was real fun.
I vaguely remember the age.
When I graduated, I was like, why wasn't there one single teacher who called me out? You know why? Because I had this stupid bow in my hair. Oh. What call me out? I'm like, I have like a 0 average. Anyway, so I wanted to go back in and like see you because I didn't care about anything. So I literally just told stories, and and the story that no one wants to hear or cares about is the same story for a 16-year-old is the same story that no one wants to hear and care about as a 70-year-old. I don't want to hear why we got here, and the other people, I don't want to hear how to fix it. What's happening to me right now, and what does it have to do with anything? And the impulse is there, and the you know, all of the history is there, but also the history, no one wants to be in there. So how do I make this entertaining, fun, scientific, and helpful for people? And so it started with Tybo, and I just wanted to teach people how to get sweaty and not cry. Yeah. And, you know, let's have a good time, listen to some music. And that was at a church. I taught to one lady for $5 a time for 6 months. And the babysitter cost me $15. And I'm like, that's why when my first husband was like, girl, you cost him way too much. So I said, because I just want to be around people that I can teach. And this woman just kept showing up. I'm not going to tell her she's not worth it. Right. And then that changed.
I'm kind of, and Lulu, you're probably already there, but to me, already, there's such a correlation with you and the people in the beauty and fashion industry. Because first of all, you're not just looking at the outside of the person. You're really listening to what do they want and what do they need. Second of all, you know, in the beauty business, particularly what Lulu does, you're physically touching people. Well, I don't know how much laying on of hands you do, but in the gym, it's pretty personal and pretty intense stuff. So you're right there. And then hairdressers, fashion people, makeup artists. And you know, at the end, there should be fruits to your labor. So it's not just that the person, oh, they feel all nice and we're buddy-buddy. No, it's that you actually can physically look and see improvement. Whatever that is, they're better off when they're leaving your place than when they came in. And it's just ironic. I am not a healthy person. We'll talk about my bad habits later. But I've never in my mind correlated what you do in comparison to what people in the beauty and fashion industry do.
Well, I love that revelation because Lulu and I talked about this often. And, you know, when I was 20 pounds lighter because I had no muscle, I also had zero, not that I'm a fashionista right now, but I had zero awareness of, I was just so granola and natural. And Lulu and her girls just made me feel so beautiful. They changed my hair texture and color and gave me eyelashes. And her daughters have pulled things out of my face. I swear I thought I lost weight just in the what was being pulled out. And they did it with such joy. And the waxing and Lulu is in my business. But and again, I'm so glad that you felt that because we talked about that. That's great. It's true.
I'll just get a plug in for my partner at crime. But at Lulu's the salon, they can throw some fairy dust in there now. They can make the magic happen. That wand comes out and woo, you're a better person.
I mean, my kids went there. I'm telling you, yes.
Well, and then the flip of that is because Lulu and I kind of traveled all over the world together. And then the opposite is that it's midnight. You just came from a model meeting. You're sitting in a hotel thing. And it's like, Lulu, do you have time to cut my hair before we go to bed? Because I really need a haircut. Lulu, before we I know we got this break on Saturday. Can you just do my roots? Could you just do, the worst opposite? It's the shoemaker's kids. They're always barefoot. Well, literally the truth. So she's a veteran in all atmosphere, and her girls agree. Fabulous, fabulous people.
And Leigh, you work for a company called Faster Way to Fat Loss. And it's actually changed your life, didn't it? In more ways than one. And can you tell the audience exactly what the Faster Way is? And, the macros. You see, I know all this kind of stuff because I live it and I can tell it. But nobody listens to me, but they listen to you because you're the professional. I think, we have different personalities. The way you say it and the way I say it, they don't listen to me. But.
And you know what we used to always say, because we'd go around, we do all these, fashion beauty shows. And we say, you know who the expert is? Anybody who's from out of town.
Yeah, right.
That's true. Yeah, no, and I love that you asked that question, Lulu. So yeah, Faster Way is it's a comprehensive education. If it is, that's how it's supposed to be presented. So it's a comprehensive education for people to learn all the things that someone will tell them to do one time in their life. Someone will tell you to fast, and that intermittent fasting is great. And so you need some help on how and why to do that. Someone's going to tell you it's bad, and you're going to go, what is it? Is it good or is it bad, and why? So I'm here to educate people on why intermittent fasting is natural. Okay, don't eat in the dark. That's it. It doesn't have to be, I mean, good after 1 o'clock. We know this. So don't eat in the dark. That's really all it is. Can you make it 7 to 7, 8 to 8, 10 to 10? I tell my girls in college, I'm like, your last cocktail, if it's at 3 a.m., we'll see you at 3, the next day, 3 p.m. Just get 12 hours. What are macro? Who cares? Like, what are we doing? Like, are we counting points? Are we counting calories? Especially in our generation. Our generation, we were doing great with a martini and a cigarette until we hit the 2000s. We're like, wait a minute.
Don't knock that too much, okay?
Right. So we just didn't know. We didn't know that we could feel better and that food could make you feel better. We don't. And by the time we realize it, we're like, that's too late. And how do we turn that around? So it's education. And I picture macros like, your money budget. If you've got, this is how much you're supposed to have. And this much goes to your bills. This much goes to your partying. And this much goes to savings. And if you spend all your money in the partying, well, that's great. You don't have room to do these other things, or vice versa, whatever. So the macros, each one has a purpose. One is going to help you have structural integrity, be strong. One's going to give you energy, and one's going to support your hormones. That's your 3 wheels. Energy, muscle, and hormone balance. What are they going to be? And so which one is which? So once you know, I need energy, what is going to give me energy? If we just talked about that, we're not even talking about, hey, girl, have a banana. Right? So there's some energy. That's a carbohydrate. Okay, man, I'm sore all the time. I'm doing these workouts. I'm super sore. My hip hurts. I'm hungry all the time. Okay, you know what? Maybe you need a little bit more protein. So here, just have and some shrimp. I don't know, have an egg. And then, man, I'm in menopause, and I just am like inflamed all the time. I don't know why. I'm waking up with night sweats. I can't figure out what's going on. Well, maybe you need a little bit more fat in your diet, because we were also the snack world girls. So we can easily fall into Jello and lettuce for 4 days and then go to Taco Cabana and, see a Tuesday. So we don't know how to balance. But once we realize that if we just continue to kind of grease that wheel of those three, every time I eat, am I energetic? Am I structurally sound? Am I hormonally balanced? Am I these things? Just keep grinding that wheel. Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I'm sleeping better. I maybe have less rosacea. Maybe I'm not so bitchy. Maybe I don't have as much candida. I don't know. Something's going on. And let me do this too. Let me just eat food that comes from the ground and that has a mother. Like, if there's more than one ingredient for just a couple of weeks, let me just see what happens if I can identify every single piece of food on my plate in one word. If I can do that, then that's a good game. So then you're like, okay, practice. That's first. If I had to redo my life as a trainer, I would work with you on nutrition for 1 year, and you could earn a chance to exercise. Exercise is easy. You're getting up every stinking day.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm serious. I'm in Florida. Just in what you've said in this podcast, I want to hire you to be my personal trainer. I'm not kidding, but I have to tell you, I will be probably your worst client ever.
Sue, I had to give up talking about a client for Lent.
Well,
Oh, wow.
It's not. Lulu might say something different when we're off the podcast, but I'm not really a bitchy person. I generally try to get along with people. Lulu, don't laugh. I might be a little. But. I have to tell you that, and I'm saying this because I think in our industry, there might be a lot of people out there who can identify, because for me, literally is changing my lifestyle. Now, I just back this up. I'm a German farm girl. I grew up, we didn't grow it, butcher it, kill it, whatever. We weren't eating it. We didn't have soda pop in our house. I'm from Iowa. It was good. But then I got in our industry. Now, there's a couple of things because I was a working mother, driving, building salons, doing education. My mother said that I haven't slept in, like 60 years. Because I honestly, if I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night, that's a really good night for me.
Yeah.
My eating habits are terrible, but they came from my work environment. So this literally, I get up every morning, I started when I was 14. I drink a pot of coffee, very strong. It'll make most military people blush at the strength I make my coffee. And I have that. And so now I'm a modern woman, so I have an energy bar with it. Yeah. I've been doing intermittent fasting all my life because I lived through airports for 17 years. Before they had restaurants, we lived on those damn peanuts and hot dogs. There was nothing else in the airports. So you got used to not eating all day.
You're like, ooh, a V8 might have some vitamins.
Or vodka and orange juice on the plane never hurt. I'm just saying.
Salad in a blender.
These are so, and then now, God bless, my wonderful, sweet, terrific husband passed away 5 years ago, which I always made a big dinner for him. But for me, I'm alone and working now. So 4 nights a week, I have Panera soup. I have a bowl of Panera soup, and my friends love it. And I never gain weight. I don't lose weight. I'm kind of stuck at where I am at my age. I don't exercise. I can sit working. I'm exercising. I'm always busy. And guess what would the other thing be? That it would just be, and like time to take a shower. Actually, time to wash my hair when I don't have to let it dry natural. That's downtime. That's downtime. So I'm trying to say, because I think for a lot of us, it's not as much a discipline issue as it is a time management issue. And it's also confusion because there's so much stuff out there.
I know the difference because I listen to you. I listen to you every day.
I love you for saying all these things. And it's 100% the Mutual Admiration Society. Peter and I used to call the gym. I was like, what happened at the salon today? We would call it the salon because everyone comes and sits in your chairs and just tells it all, right? So we called the gym the salon because we were going through, the same thing. And so, recognizing how much we also protected the privacy of our clients. We didn't share any conversations in regards to something that was personal. So we're ready to go invest in you, and we always say too, like, we'll give what you give, wherever you are, we'll come to you. And I think that it really does remind our generation too, that this is a team effort. We're doing, you're lifting weights, Lulu, when no one was cool. And so for you to be on the other side to reap the benefit of that hard work was not, you didn't think you were prepping back then. You were just doing the hard thing. You wanted to do the hard thing. You were running marathons. You're like, let's do the hard thing, right? And so you didn't know that hard thing was going to be your biggest gift. And I think that's kind of where a lot of us live too, is what's first? Is it my ego? Is it my safety? Is it, your faith is, I think, another thing. God puts everything in front of you that you need at that time for that reason. And you recognizing, wow, I can't let this go. And, I always say that as we get older, we're like a balloon with a hole in it. Trying so hard to save it, and we can. We can. So I appreciate you, Lulu, and having, talking about all the people who didn't listen to me, watching you listen to all of us at different times for different reasons. And it's just a joy, because guess what you need to do now? Not nearly as much work as you used to do then. Now, riding the maintenance. So you're amazing.
She's strong like bull.
She is. She's half my size, and she is really strong like that.
We're laughing, but I think it's really important. And I don't think we talk about it enough, because I think so many times when people think about people who go to the gym or whatever, You're thinking of the cosmetic part of it. But the truth is, the majority of women in the United States today are over the age of 50.
Wow.
So, yes, you want to look good, and it's nice to have that great body, but also that longevity word starts coming in. Because
It's one thing to walk around feeling like your pantyhose are wrapped around your ankles. And
I hate when that happens.
Skin up, right? Gonna look like. And they say the heaviest weight at the gym is the front door.
Yeah.
And, there's this stigma too that lifting weights is going to make us bulky. It's going to do all these things, and you're going right back to the look.
Yeah.
And so it's reframing the conversation again to how you feel. And don't you want to get those grandbabies up over your head? And don't you want to? People say no one over 50 should be doing high intensity interval training, and I'm like, you don't want me to train for the attacker?
Yeah.
I gotta lay down and play dead. I can't be fast.
Hey.
Someone's coming at me.
Hey, you have to travel on an airplane with a suitcase and lift it up into the compartment. You better be building up some muscles, girl. You got all them Christmas presents stuck in there. It actually weighs 100 pounds. It wouldn't get through. Yeah, absolutely.
True. And I think everyone too needs to just know there's hope. You can start anytime, and recognizing what it is that doesn't need to go, but what more you can add. So instead of trying to think of removing things, let's see how many more good things we can pull in at the good time. With all of these kinds of efforts and the positive words, I think that helps reframe us too.
I think there's another component of that, if I may,
Absolutely.
that I don't think we talk enough about. Lulu and I are on the other side of 70. Okay. and we're both working and going. Now we have to go at things a little differently. The reason I bring this up is I think, and my friends laugh when they have a birthday and I say this, 70 is the new 50. 50 is the new 40. And you just look at the number of women that are still working, who are active with their families, who are doing active things. Maybe they've worked really hard, they're retired, they live in a golf community, but they're golfing 4 days a week. So all of those things really require one thing, and that's good health. And you just can't go to the store and buy it, because I know I've tried to do it, and it's not on any of the shelves.
Right. Yeah, totally. My mother is 70 and she is just like you guys. I mean, she was just traveling at a conference in California and I'm just like looking at her like, shouldn't you slow down? And she's like, the new 70 is the new fucking 70.
I love her. Bring her to the party. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing too. Like, come on, keep up or catch up. Like,
That's
you can do it. And so I'm like, I'm just exhausted watching her, but she's not, because she's got that energy, and you guys are doing it. You're doing it right now. You got nowhere. Your end isn't even close.
Oh my God.
You have stuff to do and fun to have.
Yeah.
And legacies to leave and all of these things. So there's a lot of work to do. And right now, with the perspective of being the entrepreneur, being raised by an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur myself, being around other entrepreneurs, like we just do all the time. And for me to come out here to work at this virtual company to contribute to the longevity of it, I'm not the boss. That's a whole different ballgame. I'm like, the bell ring, it's 5:00 right now. I can't live like that. I'm trying. So, but it's just in, and you guys all have it in you in some ways. And I don't think we have to let go of the reins. We just have to kind of loosen our grip and put another thing in our hands. We can still do it.
I just want to pick up on one thing you said again, because I think people miss this. So after all that had been going on in your life, you were passionate about, I'm going to call it wellness, because that's what it really is.
Yeah.
But you moved to Florida. i.e., you took a risk. You took a risk because sometimes the best things in your life are presented with problems and obstacles. But if you are willing to have faith, however you define that, and take that risk, wow, look at what has happened for all of us because we took a chance at something. Yeah.
And when you feel that tug, and God has spoken to me a couple of times, and this was real clear recently. He said, I didn't deliver you for you to be in the same place. He said, I didn't deliver you from Galveston to Florida for you to be in the same place. You've got to do some more movement. And we had all these plans, but moving here did cost me my marriage. I had a lot of support from my husband at that time. It was like, because we were both in wellness. We both had the same passion, and the same drive for it. There's a lot of different nuances when you don't work for yourself, and what kind of compromises you need to make. And when you see a thriving new brand new company, and I'm the oldest person in the building, I'm like, hold on. 2 times, right? Only because I've been there, but no one's asking me, so I'm not coming. I'm not the boss. But being able to be around that youthful drive too is so freaking contagious, and it helps you remember what you still have and how you can support that new entrepreneur. And I think paying it forward to a new she drives the Rolls. Couple of them. I don't have the things that she does, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to help make this impact, and whatever platform that I don't have enough of a reach with my hands cupped around my mouth. I've got to find a bigger reach. I don't have the creativity, I don't have the insight, and that's not my skill set. So I'm going to let my CEO do that so that I can help this conversation in which everyone's going to do one of these things one time. Now we can help you do all of them for the best ability. And time management, it literally, this is all it takes to, if you could get 3 30-minute strength training workouts per week, listen to me, and then you do those 3, don't even do the 365 that we create. Do those 3 for 3 weeks. I'm going to do the 30, that's an hour and a half a week. I'm pretty sure I can do this. And then you go, okay, well, last week when I tried that move, I didn't feel as good as I do this week. Or last week I wasn't as strong. But you're measuring something measurable. And I love changing it up. I love doing all that. But I'm like you. I'm the artist. I can abstract what I can render first. Right. You guys can abstract what you can render first. I'm not a penance or a mistake, but start to learn how to render. And that's just reps. So if you had 3 30-minute workouts, 3-4 weeks in a row, 8 weeks, I don't care. Then you also start to get this muscle memory.
You just have no idea. And then so you think, well, I try this and it doesn't work. And then you're like,
darts at there's a target, right? And it's not really lasting for a day. You're like, I'm bored by this. It's already 2.
You go to the store and you say, I'll get the almond milk. I'll be healthy. And then you find out, well, that's not healthy at all. There's...
There's these M&Ms in here. Yeah, no, totally. And again, and then you get burnt out, and then you get frustrated, then you get rebellious. And I think the rebellion is something that we all have. We're like, you know what? I dropped my phone. I'm jumping on it right now. Just let's get it really dead. So I think that is something that comes and goes, and we'll ride the wave of culture and jump on January 1st and forget by Friday. And that's okay. And then we do it for spring break. And, this is a cycle of what we see in my industry. Summer's so slow, and people either recommit in September, or they're like, screw it, I'll see you in January. Like, this is like, we either miss that wave or you ride it. That's just the cycle of this. And so if we can just stop with the day ones, and we can stop with the before and afters, and we could just start with the here and the now. Like, when's your birthday? I don't know. What if you never told me? Someone posted something on my Who Cares, and I read it, and it was a year since X, Y, and Z, and it was a year since my husband and I divorced. And I was like, well, this is my happy new year. I don't have to wait till January 1. Great. Like, declare your new year whenever it's going to be, and then just take it day by day. And if you're looking for progress, go, okay, I've got 45 days on the calendar. Can I get 20 good days in 45? And then maybe you get 20 good days, and it took you 30 days to get 20 good days. You're like, well, I got 15 days left. I get 5 more good days. And you start trying to, and you go, okay, I got another 45 days, my second set of 45 days. Can I get 32 good days in 45 days? And then what defines good? And now you're 3 months in, and you're like, okay, this is part of who I am. Let me find another challenge. And if we can just think of not climbing up the stairs as this labor, but like this new perch of a new platform from which to spring, but the only way to get up is to climb. There is no elevator, there's no escalator, and climbing doesn't have to be so punitive. If you're strong, it can be something that you can look forward to and that you can celebrate what you can do. But I think that we never get out of this track, and all we got to do is either dig deeper or we've got to go wider, and we just sit there repeating the same things over and over again. Now, we're not repeating the same mistakes in our life, because look at my business, look at my growth, look at my clients. Look, I'm not repeating the same mistakes. I'm and blowing and smoking. But at the same time, I don't know why it's always been so hard for us to blend the two together. Would I be like this if it wasn't my career? I think so, because my motivation, again, was not to look a certain way. It was to feel a certain. And so finding out what it is that you want to feel like. And I work with this girl. I mean, yesterday, she's 23. She's like, help me stop eating sugar. I go, okay, well, let's just start by stopping. So she was walking around with the cookie. I go, are you going to take a bite of it? And she's like, can I just carry it with me? I was like, yeah, you can carry it with you all day. It was her little pet all day. And then finally she let it go. And I was like, but now I need you to eat it.
Right.
She's like, why? I go, because now we can't cut the cord like that.
Right.
The damn cookie, come in tomorrow and have a different conversation about what will take that craving away.
Right.
And that's what's so awesome about you, Leigh, is you have that personality. Let's face it, not everybody has that personality. Because your ex-husband doesn't have that personality.
People are in love. It's one of the two.
Yeah, right. Because I trained with him, and
I'm leaving. I'm sorry.
I know. So when I trained with him, and I would do weights, he would have me pick the weights, even though I'm 5'2" and I had to jump. Leigh would bring him down. My trainer that I have now will bring him down, and I keep telling her, well, Peter wouldn't do that. But anyway, we all have different personalities. And I think that every day, just seeing you is like being with you, because you take people where they're at. You tell them, like that 25-year-old wanted that cookie. Well, you asked her, are you going to have that bite? No, can I carry it? So she did that. And then she realized towards the end that she really didn't want it, or she needed to change her habit. And that's the beauty about you and about the whole industry, whether you're a hairstylist or not, is being able to talk to that individual.
Yes.
It goes back to when I was sick. And I was in a hospital. I thought Peter had overworked me, and it wasn't that. But anyway, I came to find out that all the doctors kept coming in and kept saying, well, lift your leg, do this, do that. And they kept saying, man, you're so strong. Had I not been working out with the personal trainer that, and mind you, I know that I'm different, that whatever I do to the extent, because that's my personality.
Right.
Yes.
But you guys pushed me, and I got stronger. So when I got sick, the doctors knew that I could overcome. And even my neurologist today had said, you keep it up. You keep exercising. You keep lifting weights. You do all these things. And I do them only to better myself, because I know as you get older, especially when you get older, that you have a tendency to lose muscle if you're not lifting weights. Now, mind you, love, to have sweets at night. I love, to have some carbs some days. But
and it's not so daunting. Now you're looking for an accomplishment that will help subsidize what your nutrition just did. Like, oh, I'm getting stronger because I'm eating. Oh my God. And then you're just starting to see this snowball. And it's like it's so fun. It's so fun.
I always think of physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. That's the balance wheel. And I know that I've strived for it, but it always seems like when you get 4 of the pieces aligned, the 5th one falls off. It's really about, you know what I'm saying? It's really about making commitments. Now, for an example, I have a prayer life. And I used to always know, I'm really, and then I get the end of the day and I'd fall asleep. And I finally said, if I'm going to profess to if I'm going to profess to do this, change my habits, I've got to get in early, get this done before my day starts, because once my day starts, all hell's breaking loose.
Right. Nothing I should before I go to bed.
So I can see that approach to what you're saying, to say, this is sacred time. You have to do this. You have to, it's not what's left after work and after this and after that. It becomes part of your life. And I don't know when Lulu's been sneaking all this in, because
she's out of her car in her pajamas.
Yes. I have to do it early in the morning.
I'm like, girl, get in here barefoot. We got this.
I have this vision in my head. I can just see it.
Getting out, like, come on in, girl. Here's where the door, feel the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, listen, for those, not for smart people like you all, but for us healthy dummies that are out here, I've got a couple of things.
Yes.
And you can say pass. I'm not opposed to the word pass. But I do think part of the problem is between the internet, Facebook, television, infomercials, the computer, Google. There's so much information, and you just don't know what to even believe anymore. So, I don't need a tutorial on this, but if you can just kind of say, because some of it is just, I'm old.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. So one of the things that I have to go back here. So today the big thing is Ozempic, or these semaglutides. It's rampant here in Florida. You know that.
Everywhere. Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. Remember when cocaine was too? I'm just kidding.
No.
Well, my point is this: is that I believe that everything does have a cycle, and this is medication that has been created to help people who have metabolic disorders that take a lot of time to undo. So just because we decide to get in shape doesn't mean that we are going to turn off a switch that has respond to the cascade of 30 years of us jacking with our system.
Right.
Because every single hormone that we have is like that game of mousetrap. It's tripping off another wire. You throw in any kind of autoimmune issue in there and your wires are all tripped. So your sex hormones are funky, your hunger hormones, your sleep hormones, your adrenaline hormones, your cortisol, all these things are necessary and awesome. And you're supposed to have changes as you age. Like, we're doing it. Let's just get in the right lane of it. Stop trying to fight it. Let's figure out how to work through it. So those things are all happening, right? So when we want to help somebody who is morbidly obese, right, which means that they have markers in their body that are saying you're going to die sooner than later if we don't stop this, and your habits aren't happening fast enough, and the damage isn't being undone fast enough.
Right.
Okay, so the semaglutide comes in to kind of hit the hard reset. All right. And for some people, they feel amazing. For some people, they don't feel as good. For some people who are using it for 5 or 10 pounds, they're not looking. It's the abuse of it.
It's the abuse of it.
Yes. And, I support any kind of medication that's going to help somebody. It's not a lifestyle change. The gastric bypass was a thing that happened a while.
I had a friend that died from that.
Right.
In the beauty
and so
business.
I would tell people, I'm like, okay, you can have 2 bites every hour, but I gotta get you to eat this much food. So that was a different challenge. Then I would deal with clients who would do the 500 calories one day, then the HGH shot, then the 500, then the HGH. I'm trying to how can I get you strong if you're not eating? So then I would go through clients who, who were only doing keto, but they had too much protein, so they were only gaining fat. All these things. I'm like, and so all of it does work. Every single thing does work, period. And not eating works, I promise, every time. Because let's go on Naked and Afraid together and let's see how we come out, right? Not eating works every single time.
Yeah.
But it's uncomfortable. And it is very hard to sustain unless you adapt your lifestyle.
Right.
So I'm not going to say I'm opposed to those. I'm going to say I'm opposed to the abuse of them. I think that there needs to be a lot more research that is done. I think that people who do decide to take on the usage of this need to be responsible and say, okay, let me give myself a strength test. Let me see how much I can carry, whatever your workout is. And if you're not working out, like, can I pick up these 2 water bottles and hold them for 1 minute? If I don't eat enough in 2 weeks, I won't be able to hold on to them. So if we can measure our strength and pair it with the medicine, then by the time we come off the medicine, we will know that we did not lose muscle. We did just lose the fat. So it's this bigger conversation. And I feel like everybody who does participate in any of these one answer things have to have an exit strategy.
Right.
My husband was a competitive bodybuilder. He would drop down to, he's a former obese person, then became a competitive bodybuilder and would drop down to, I mean, I'm like, I'm looking at your liver through your skin right now. Like, you can see it, and you're also super mean, and you're no one that I want to hang out with, and you're just, no one's having a good time. After his first show, he gained 40 pounds in 1 week. 40 pounds. You could die.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So he just sat there behind the desk at the gym that he was working. Then he wasn't an owner, and just watched himself grow until he's like, kind of need to go to the ER.
Yeah.
That is a binge and a purge. Unless you've got an exit strategy for whatever it is extreme that you do, don't do it. So he later on did subsequent shows and then built his career on having people not do that.
Right.
It's, what is your exit strategy for this temporary fix? Dude, I just dyed my hair blonde. Do I need to come back in for a balayage here? Like, what's going to happen, right? How do we work on this?
Yeah. You know, we're down here. You and I are down here in God's great waiting room, Florida.
I just got a new car, and I was like, okay, why does it only have like 9 miles on it? And why? You're like, everyone keeps buying new cars and dying.
Yeah, you can buy really good cars down here. Yeah. Anyway, where I was going with that is, I think every one of my friends takes some type of calcium. And everybody has a theory why their calcium is the best, because this is what we talk about in Florida, in case any men are out there and interested what we're really talking about. So, what calcium is really doing, is it helping, what forms you should take it in.
Right.
I don't want you to spill any secrets, but I just think there's this whole myth that's built about calcium.
So let me just ask you this. So when people say, I take calcium because
I want stronger bones, I want good skin, I want my hair to grow.
Stop, lift weights, eat protein, and drink a lot of water.
Oh God, I love you. Love you. You're my girl.
Bone density. Listen, think about a newborn baby. You can bend them all. You're like, look at you. Look at your feet by your ears. Like, look at you. You're so fine.
Yeah.
And then they get up and they start crawling, and then they start to walk. They are adding weight to their skeletal muscle, to their skeleton. And then their skeleton has to support that weight, so it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So we hit a tipping point in which we start to lose that bone. But if we continue to add weight, our body adapts and the bone density will stay. And so it is all about that. And it's about protein to support that muscle that you're creating, and then your skin and all of that comes. Yeah.
I've been adding weight ever since menopause, but I don't think it's the kind of weight you're talking about. Health and wellness for dummies. Here's another thing. And then again, I'd like to talk about me, so, here we go. But intermittent fasting. Now, I told you how I live. The truth is, I've been intermittent fasting all my life. And then I hear all these things, intermittent fasting, and I'm like...
Intermittent fasting is not eat a protein bar every 4 hours, or
Well, no, I eat every 12 hours.
You don't eat at all for 16 hours. Is that correct? 16 or 16 hours? Or
12, a good 12. I'm probably.
Yeah, but it's what you eat afterwards.
That's the girl.
A bowl of soup. Soup.
Yeah. Once you tell me that she has a protein bar and a bowl of soup, and I thought,
At least 4 days a week. I promise you. At least 4 days a week.
Dude, this is gonna get. Okay, just because less you eat the slower everything goes. Think about an elephant.
I'm so slow.
Well, the less you eat, the slower it goes. So if you're only having a protein bar and a little bit of soup, then your body is just slowing everything down. And the last thing it's going to do is honor new tissue, which is muscle. So it's going to try to preserve your life and just hold on to all of your fat. Just in case. And so we got to teach it to start to shed that. And it's only going to shed it if we start to eat. Think about a potted plant, okay? Like a dried potted plant. You can feed it with an eyedropper all the time and it's just not going to die. This little guy is not going to die. Just little eyedropper. Now you can't dump a bunch of water on it and expect it to grow. You have to slowly build up that nutrient base so that it will start to bloom, and you have to give it that time. So coming out of you're not eating enough, but you're doing the intermittent fasting is easy because what do you have to do? Oh, that's right, nothing. Okay, the hard part of intermittent fasting is the eating part on the other side. So when people are having a hard time getting the specific amount of food that they might need at that time, then I'm like, well, then don't fast, just eat all day. I'd much rather you not fast for more. Well, it's 12. We can do 12 hours. I'd rather you not go beyond 12 hours if our first priority is getting that food in. And that's hard. The very first, you're like, I don't want to eat all this food. This is so uncomfortable. But think about that pot of soil. Your body will honor the release of these fat cells when it can trust that you're going to be feeding it, and it doesn't have to feed itself with toxic insulation. So it's a process. And I think that intermittent fasting too is biblical. And I didn't invent it. Amanda Trust didn't invent it. Mary Claire Haver didn't invent it. These things were invented thousands of years and pretty primally also. Okay. Guess what? We don't have the food today. So your body would learn how to adapt in ways. And then I asked Siri just the other day for fun. I was like, actually Alexa, because she's my roommate. And I was like, hey, girl, what you doing? So I said, Alexa, what do you think intermittent fasting is? And she said 3 hours between every meal, which is true.
God.
Take a break. Just take a break. But I see people all day long, and I work at this company. I'm like, girl, you haven't stopped chewing for like 4 hours. Like, she's like, right. It's just this constant of candy or whatever, it's just constant. So,
Oh my God.
can you eat more? Exercise less.
You can do almost anything, but just don't tell me I have to give up my coffee. Because there are these people who want to take away your caffeine. I cannot. That's the straw. I cannot.
I am like you. I have a pot a day. Okay. Listen, that's primal also. I'm pretty sure Lulu's heritage is down there drinking.
That's where they keep the really strong stuff.
That's
They smuggle that good stuff in. You know what I mean? You got to go south of the border to get that stuff that's got a kick.
that Colombian coffee.
Oh, well, and Jamaica has some pretty decent stuff. And, yeah, good. Okay, and one last question, and then I will be quiet. But I also, in Florida, you know this. If there's a health trend happening, I mean, it's like, it's the thing of the day. So now the other thing that a lot of people are talking about is blood testing for your metabolic levels, so you know how you should eat, the vitamins you should take, and the exercises you should do. Merit, no merit, smoke and mirrors.
So, okay, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you I don't know enough about it, but I will tell you a couple of natural things, right?
Okay.
So, speaking of Lulu's heritage, and looking at yours and mine. So, I have done all different kinds of experiments on myself, and carbohydrates are not bad. They're really good, and they're needed for your body. So, if I have an X amount, I can get it from rice or potatoes or fruit. So one time I did only fruit carbs for 2 weeks or something. And I know my people aren't eating mangoes. Okay. I'm like, what's happening to my tongue right now? Like, what's happening? I'm so itchy. So I think that there are some geographical, origins that have to do with who we are and what our bodies respond to. So I think that 100% is true. I also believe that based on the stimulus to what you need. So your blood might say something. but your lifestyle trumps the number. And this is how I feel about DNA testing. I'm like, great, well, you know, that DNA that we're looking at, my lifestyle has overridden these possibilities. And I'm not going to say that there's no merit to it. I'm just not going to say that at all, but I do know that the correlation of what's happening in real time can change, and you know what is happening in your blood can look a little bit different. Not about necessarily your blood type, that's not going to change, but I think there's a lot of other factors that come into play. Again, I know nothing, and that's why I'm just being honest.
Well,
but
it's great to be. We love honest people on this show. We call it being genuine. You know,
technology is insane, and if there is technology that can help us at that time be able to identify what it is, there's that lumen, the breath thing, like, okay, by breathing. Well, but hold on, do I have a different kind of breath because I just finished exercise? My liver enzymes look different because I just finished. My blood sugar is elevated because someone tried to chase me and I wasn't prepared because I didn't do it. Like, you know, these are the things that elevate your blood sugar too, not just Pinky. And it's the insulin response that matters, not the blood sugar rise. So all of these kinds of things come into play. I think it's what we're looking for, what science and technology will provide, and how we can move with it and not against it, and not be rebellious or dogmatic. You can't be dogmatic about anything.
I've always thought that there might be merit to it only because, like, my friends in Florida, you know, it's like, I'm so hungry for a salad. Let's do lunch. I could just see. I have never once in my life said, I'm hungry for a salad. Bring me that big prime rib. Make it medium rare. If I could do a diet, it would be the carnivore diet. And if preferred, cooked over fine.
And that carnivore thing, like, I'm watching, I think sometimes people get allergic to food. I think they have done so much damage by eating so many of the wrong things. The hard reset comes from intermittent fasting. The hard reset comes from not just no carb, but like only meat. The hard fast can come from also eliminating meat. Like, there's a hard reset for a lot of things, I think, that are being abused, which is why I really am a proponent of finding that balance. So that you can metabolically adapt to whatever it is that you're trying. But the hard reset is sometimes necessary. Now, there's genetic kind of components that it could affect your blood. My mother's got some genes. You know, they got, like, I can't have, you know, whatever, folate and all kinds of. So, you know, but I'm looking at them like, something's wrong with you. Anyway, maybe something's wrong with me and everybody knows it and I don't.
I've suspected that about myself for a long time. God wired us all a special way, didn't he? We're all different, uniquely ourselves.
That guy's on Shark Tank.
I would say, So at the end, do these questions, and they're questions to you because we want to know you more personally, even though I know you personally.
Get on in here, Lulu.
So, question one is, if you were going to cheat on your diet, what are your cravings?
Okay, so number one, don't let me be all lectury. I don't cheat because I am allowed, right? So my favorite things to eat that are not from the ground. I love cheeseburgers, French nachos, margarita. They're my favorite things. And I have them every single week. I've got something, but it's always sweet and salty mixed and alcohol.
And alcohol. Right. What's your favorite workout pants?
Inquiring minds want to know.
There's some windows in there. For this single mid-century. Okay, so no, I like Beyond Yoga right now are the ones that I like. Yes. Okay.
Cool.
What's your favorite movie?
Okay, whatever's going to make me feel like, A, it's not my life. Like, that'll never happen to me. B, it's not an alien or scary. So I like all the rom-coms. I like the real inappropriate ones. My baby daddy just made me watch, what's it called? Oh, gosh, with Jeff Bridges, The Big Lebowski. And then I almost found it and watched it again. It's just nonsense. So, yeah.
What do you do on your day off?
I hide. Isn't that terrible? I will sit there and binge watch Vanderpump, or I'll go to Marshall's and fill up a basket and leave it. Or but I go solo. You know, this past year has been really hard. This divorce was like a freaking spontaneous amputation. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it at all. And, for my job to be authentic and inspiring, I was like, who wants to join me in the bathtub with my razor blades? I mean, I've not been fun to be around, so I don't talk. And so it's taken me these past maybe 4 or 5 months, I've started to kind of 2-step forward, 1 step back instead of 4 steps back. So what I go into some solitude. I do things that aren't good for me, like I lay out in the sun. I know. But I go back I do that kind of stuff. Solo.
What's the last book you read?
It's called Education. Oh, what's her name? Tara something. It's about this little girl who was raised it's true story. She was raised in the woods with her family who are Mormons. And so they were like preppers and scared of the world. And so she lived like not knowing much about civilization out, like this is like recent. And then she ended up breaking free and went to, the University of Utah or whatever. Anyway, it was riveting and I was like, she couldn't read when she went to college. And
Wow.
That's what I read. But it was the first book I read in 10 years.
Wow.
That was not self-help or education. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, Lulu's given me some great ones. But this is the first one I read with my eyes, too.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to shop?
My fashion is terrible. I actually shop at my hair salon. Y'all are laughing. I never thought. So she's got this boutique. And I, met her through a friend. And I'm like, just pick out whatever no one's buying. And so then she just last year stopped selling clothes. I'm like, I only get clothes when I go get my hair cut, which Lulu knows is not very often. So I started making it order because she told me I looked like a lion who was just like all unkempt. I looked just so terrible. And so now I just do only Amazon. We have a Slack channel in my office where we just sit there and share links all day. I'm like, where'd you get that skirt? And then all of us have it in a different color.
Yeah.
So Amazon.
Okay. What is one item you can't live without?
Coffee.
Yay!
Sue definitely likes that.
I found my tribe. I found my
Like,
tribe.
If I woke up without coffee, I have backups of instant coffee hidden around my house just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hear you, sister. I have the bag unopened, the can unopened, the stuff that's in the container,
I like it. It makes me feel like I'm a boss. I'm an antique boss is what I feel like.
Where were you raised?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. Do you not speak Spanish?
Well, so I told you I didn't know I wasn't Mexican until I moved. And I saw you. I'm like, I'm home. I'm like, family. I mean, any Mexican jokes, I was like, why is no one laughing? I was like, my daughter went to Vienna. I was like, maybe we can't. We're not. I mean, this is my thing. So I lived in Costa Rica for I don't know, 6 months or something with my kids.
Oh my God.
We lived with a family so we could learn Spanish and live with them for like a few months and then practice Spanish all the time. So I can get by. But
Cerveza?
Yeah. If you had to cast someone to play your part in a movie about your life, what would it be?
I saw this question. That's the hardest question I've ever heard, right? Because so many times the people say, oh, you look like that person. I'm like, oh, they're super annoying. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be like that one. And I'm like, oh, that's just like me. But I need to have someone who doesn't take themselves. Okay. I
You gotta name somebody.
like a good Julia Roberts, Paltrow, somebody like that.
Gwyneth Roberts? Okay.
Maybe a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite quote or motto?
Oh, yeah, and I've had this one on my iPad since I knew you. I mean, I could quote scripture all day long right now because scripture is what's got me through.
Uh-huh.
But I'm pretty sure God invented words. So this one is, if it matters to you, you'll make it happen. If it doesn't, you'll make an excuse. So it's on my iPad. It's just everywhere, and I just have it as do you want this bad enough or not? And, and then sometimes the excuse is okay, but like if I really want it, I can make it happen. But yeah.
That's awesome. My God. It was such a pleasure having you on.
It was so fun. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that this helps inspire some people to, again, have a good time and live longer You can do it longer.
When you're hanging out with yourself, get yourself over to Bass Pro Shops and pick up some of that black mountain rifle.
I used to have a subscription.
Oh my God, you never know who's hanging around the coffee. You know, you already have something in common. So you know that coffee. That's like, okay, go get you some.
You ladies,
how fun.
Thank you so much. And I'm always here anytime. I love you both. And it was just a pleasure.
You think I'm kidding, but I'm going to call you. You're in trouble now, girl.
Okay, Sue.
I love you.
We have until Easter.
Okay.
Wow, what an episode. That wraps up another exciting edition of Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you're leaving inspired and ready to chase your dreams. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode over at youtube.com/artists, icons, entrepreneurs, as well as Facebook at Lulu Benavidez, on IG at Lulu Benavidez, at Evolve Hair Solutions as well.